when everybody had like really different proportions, or like really like like varied looks on Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, where everybody
Mm-hmm.
was in different kind of shapes and sizes. And then Street Fighter 4, everybody just has like big ass Flintstone feet. And it was just like, wait, y'all, why is everybody so fucking jacked, bro? Like,
Right.
you know, we don't need everybody to look the same or like
No,
have the same
man.
body type. And it's like, I just think it's the variety being the spice of life, and that whole like being, best seen there in professional wrestling, where it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, dog, these niggas are weirdos, bro. And everybody should have like their chance to just have a favorite that's like super different from everybody else, and like to homogenize that look. Or, it's just like I hated that.
It leaves a
I
bad
still
taste
hate
in your
that.
mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, either that or it's just like, it just, again, like we talked about maybe a couple weeks ago, how the product is so overproduced.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this, like it's a bunch of stuff where, like, I'll say, all the women having to have long hair or dye some different ridiculous color, or
Yeah.
or wigs, for that most of them are doing now, thank God, because that would just wreak havoc on your hair. These
Take care of your hair, ladies.
bright cheap colors that they want them to put in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's stupid. And it's like, you see like women, well, you see every character get mishandled to some degree. But like when you look at, especially if you want everybody to be like into these female characters, obviously, you want there to be some kind of attraction. Otherwise, you would probably have way more women in the locker room, because they have different looks. And, like if they don't fit this very specific model-esque look, what I'm saying? He would have a whole locker room of Mandy Roses if possible, and
Oh,
it would
you
be
you know he
boring.
would.
It would be super boring. And like that's why I'm glad to see, the dewdrops, or, well,
Yeah, I appreciate Dewdrop. I appreciate
Piper Nevin, god damn it, give her a
Piper.
fucking name. You got her, you got you have your Savannah Summerses,
Mm-hmm.
and
Shout out to the Hall of
your,
Famer.
your Ruby Sohos and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. And it was like, they were like, when Ruby was there, I was like, man, they're all right, they're going for it. They like actually are trying to have somebody with a different look.
Yeah.
Because it was like, and I don't mean to be crass, but it's not like Ruby isn't typical.
No,
You know what I mean?
she's
Like,
not your typical women's wrestler, and honestly, she's not your typical woman, man. Like she has a
yeah,
distinct look.
like I personally don't, I don't, I don't think she's ugly, but I am not attracted to her.
It's not your thing.
Okay. And that's dope, because I just want to see her fucking wrestle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like, and we should have enough to where it shouldn't be a thing where everybody's got to be fucking hot before they can get in the ring. Or at least everybody doesn't have to be hot to everybody. Everybody doesn't have to be typically hot, I should say, to like get some damn TV time, especially if you just got if you have the goods, and her personality shines through too, or to me a little bit better than, say, I have no idea what Mandy Rose is about.
I've never understood Mandy Rose, man.
I don't have any. I have nothing. I have so much of a better understanding of like what Ruby Soho is trying to get across to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mandy, and this, I don't think it's her fault, but she doesn't, like, the character has no depth, and it sucks, because Mandy is a beautiful girl and she's somebody that people want to see, but that's all we want to do,
Right.
is see.
Yeah, there's no
Because I don't
desire to
know who
watch
this
the
person
wrestling.
is. I don't know who she's supposed to be as a performer.
She has no character. She hangs out
I'm
in swimming
pretty,
pools.
and I'm the champion, so that means I'm the best.
And I have
it's like,
dark hair now, and I have sidekicks now.
you gotta have some, like, if you're a heel too,
You gotta do some bad shit.
you gotta do some
all
bad
she does
shit.
is like sneer at people most of the time. And go,
Yeah, yeah, like if you're gonna be a heel, like you
That's a
definitely
terrible
gotta have
Mandy
some
Rose
depth
face.
because you gotta carry the action in the ring, and you gotta like everything is predicated on what you do. Baby
Mm-hmm.
faces have to react; they can't come after you unless they're Stone Cold Steve Austin, obviously. But like,
Obviously.
yeah, like they have to chase you, and I actually tried to watch some Mandy Rose. Like I like her, like I like looking at her again, but I have no idea who this person is supposed to be.
Yeah. And I've been in the same boat. Like even when she's on the main roster, and I was honestly excited when she went to NXT because
She's
it was
gorgeous.
yes, it was right before the rebrand, and I'm like, okay, she's going to NXT, cool. They're going to send her down there, and then something cool's going to happen with her. And
Yeah.
then they
And
did
it
the
was,
rebrand, and Triple H no longer was running it and everything, and now we are where we are, and she's held the belt for what since Halloween Havoc, is that right?
I
Like
think so.
5 months now, and honestly, there's not a real legit end in sight. Like she has
Hmm.
people she's feuding with, but it's just kind of like, okay, we're gonna just leave us
There's
here.
nobody to. I'm like, who else would I put it? I would have put it on Dakota Kai
Shout out to
because Dakota
Dakota,
Kai
man.
has a story. Like Dakota
Yeah.
Kai has a story. Like as just like the character who was like kind of slated to be the next Bailey. She had that connection with the
Mm-hmm.
crowd. She was like, America's sweetheart, and then her whole story being the pivot of the fucking heel turn
Yeah.
while she had a ton of support, which is crazy because it's like it'd have been different if everybody kind of turned on her or like her character was getting stale. Like she was still like, as far as NXT goes and ability to get sympathy and shit as a face,
Very over.
Dakota Kai was super over.
Mm-hmm.
And when she turned on Tegan Knox at that War
Yeah.
Games, it was like, holy shit. This
Everybody
is
was
the
talking about
worst
that.
thing that could have happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you hated to see it.
you hated to see it, and
that's
what
how
I'm
you
saying?
knew it worked at the same
Yeah,
time, though.
for sure. Because like I said, I remember Dakota Kai's story because I'm a Dakota Kai fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember just wanting the shit to work out for her, and they definitely should have at some point put the title on her because she's the only one there who can really kind of convey emotion to the crowd.
Here's my hot take on where NXT did go wrong. So for years and years, NXT was the best product that WWE was putting out. Like people were ready for Wednesdays and ready for the pay-per-views, and they would constantly deliver. They deliver.
And this next one, sorry, the next one is called Stand and Deliver.
It is.
Fuck off. Anyway,
Isn't
keep
this the
going.
second year they done this one? I think they did it at Mania last year too.
Knock it the fuck off.
Now they did so well with growing new stars like your Charlottes, your Becky a little bit. Like Becky obviously has done more in the main roster. She never won an NXT title, but she was part of that four
So
horsewomen
rare.
at NXT. Bailey, Sasha, Paige, of course, coming out and then being the one to ultimately be the first real diva in that era and have the divas who was actually going to the main roster and beating ass. So they built that, and then on the other side they were bringing all these other stars from foreign promotion, just other promotions who they would shoot to the moon, like your Balors and your Nakamura's, and then Kevin Owens, and it's like, yo, this is crazy. Like all of our nerd wrestling dreams are coming true, and I don't want to say they rested on their laurels, but I feel like maybe the title turnover could have been just a little more. It was good storytelling as far as giving the fans what they wanted and making sure there's marquee matches and maintaining that there was long runs in between titles changes and stuff. But especially and before the rebrand, like the last 18, and I know COVID probably messed up a lot of this, but even like around 2019 or so with like they had a lot of cool things going on, and then with Rhea Ripley being the NXT champion going into Mania in 2020, like it seemed like they were heading that direction where they're going to flip things a lot. They could have definitely done more as far as getting Dakota Kai title runs, getting other male wrestlers over that, or title runs that were over at the time, and it just didn't happen because either they were just so set on making sure that they told so great stories, and they had such great characters like Ciampa and Gargano. Like, I loved all their matches. It was a little tired by the time we got to like the 4th round of it.
Yeah.
They delivered. They definitely delivered. But it was like, okay, do we need to see this again? Like, maybe have Ciampa put over, or have somebody come out of nowhere and take Ciampa out and be like, oh, he took Big Goldie away from
Ciampa. New realer nigga out here.
Right. And that would have really been like, yo, like, are you like kind of like what they wanted to do with Breaker? Oh, except Ciampa beat Breaker the first time and they kind of killed that momentum. So they just didn't strike as much as they could have when the iron was hot. And maybe that was the goals for the last 2 years before the rebrand. But of course, with COVID and having to be locked down and, dealing with like not knowing when Adam Cole's contract expires, and maybe I can see why they didn't do that as well.
Yeah. Well, I never understood the rush to move people to the main roster.
They didn't want, they wouldn't let someone be real big in NXT, but then fall down back into the NXT mid-card, which was not a bad place to be. They're like, we got to get you on the main roster. And then they get to the main roster and then they're jobbing. So
right.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And just the, it's like, I don't understand sabotage. Like, you know how it works. Like,
especially in your own company.
You've been running the fucking business forever. And like, what works and what doesn't. And when something doesn't work, and when you see, just as an employer, you see like high turnover. It's like, these guys were useful before. Like, yeah, like at some point, look at yourself. Like, am I just not able to make money? Like, what's happening right now? But like, I don't know. It's just still like, you still got to be. You got to somehow figure out how to become Vince's comfort food.
Yeah.
Somehow you got to do is something that you have to do. Like, I know New Day has another title reign coming up at some point. You know what I mean? Because because it's the cash register. I don't know who's buying Charlotte merch, but like somehow she found a way to become that nigga's comfort food. You could be a Brock Lesnar. Yeah, you can come over. Brock Lesnar can go spend a night in Vince's house right now.
Yeah,
he can just come.
He probably has in the last 6 months.
Probably. I mean, fuck. Hey Vince, open the fucking door, you weirdo. He come down there in his like silk robe and his fucking. He ain't sleep. Vince ain't sleep.
Vince didn't sleep.
Vince ain't sleep, but he is still wearing like a smoker's jacket around the house. He
probably gifted to him by Gross Hefner, by Hugh Hefner.
You think so?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, he's definitely been there. He's definitely been in the grotto.
Yeah.
Not a whole bunch of times, because he'll be all he has time for is the WWE. Like, but probably in the 80s when he was first starting to feel his real fame and get the money up, he probably went out there. You know what I'm saying? Your boy been out there already. Your boy was out there.
Yeah. Of course he was.
A couple of your boys was out there actually.
Oh man.
Hugh. Like, yeah, that's him out there. Yelling for Hugh to come and bring him some more victims. Anyway. Super Bowl Saturday?
God.
Bring some more victims. That's him. That's Rick and Hugh Hefner. Every time he can't run out to the Playboy Mansion.
Oh
God.
Get the Quaaludes, Rick.
If those walls could talk, they'd kill themselves.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously.
There you
go. That's the worst drop ever when we're talking about that.
Fucking asshole.
Wow.